My name is Saif Hamideh, and I'm a student, I'm a Muslim, and I'm a political activist. But here, the only hat I'm going to sort of use today is one hat, and that's a hat of an American, because that's what I am first and foremost. Now, when I look across this room, I notice no one has instant coffee. Why is that? Because instant coffee is pretty gross. It's labeled as one thing, but when you actually sit down to drink instant coffee, it's not coffee. So we all could sort of agree it's disdainful when you think you're getting one thing and then you get another. And that's exactly what I see with this bill right now, and that's why I'm in opposition to it. With this bill, it says one thing in the title, but it clearly means something else. I don't know if this was done intentionally, but I'd like to bring everyone's attention to Section 2 of this bill. Now, Section 2 of this bill does something. What it does is it gives an exemption, and it gives an exemption explicitly to English common law. We have to go into a history lesson now to realize why this is such so problematic. Now, this gives an exemption to English common law. Time and time again, we've seen in American history, English common law has been shaped by the Protestant moral establishment. Now, in the past, English common law has been used to oppress Catholics, oppress Jews, and today it's being used to, well, oppress Muslims. Time and time again, English common law has been sort of misconstrued to favor one religious organization over another. In fact, we saw this with oppressing women, we saw this with oppressing blacks, and we furthermore have seen this today with oppressing religious minorities, such as Muslims in America. And I'm going to go exactly to why this sort of doesn't violate, but does not work perfectly with the First Amendment, and this is why. The First Amendment says Congress has no right to establish a religion. You are not Congress, so it does not apply to you. This is a federal thing, so that's not the case. But let's go into court cases and see why in court cases there are specific things which make this bill unconstitutional. Now let's look at the first court case I want to go to. The County of Allegheny versus the ACLU. Now in this court case, it was Christmas time, and you had in the city center multiple Christmas decorations. You had two things, a menorah and a Christmas tree. Now, the Christmas tree was much larger and put at the top of a hill, while the menorah was smaller and out of place. This was called unconstitutional by the court because it gave a certain precedent to the Christian Christmas tree over the Jewish menorah. Now, in another court case, Lynch v. Donnelly, you had the same thing where you had a nativity scene that was paid for by the local government of Rhode Island. But in this case, it was called constitutional because every other religion was evenly actually represented if they had asked to be represented before. Now, Chief Justice Berger says this is constitutional because you're giving everyone a fair opportunity. Now, this bill does not give everyone a fair opportunity, and this is why it's wrong, because it gives a special burden and it gives a special precedent to English common law, which time and time again has favored the Protestant moral establishment in America and has been used time and time again to oppress several people in America. Now, I'm going to go back to one thing, and I'm going to go back to one of our founding fathers, John Locke. John Locke writes in his letter on toleration that we should tolerate everyone in our society, and it's not the role of the civil magistrate to legislate when it comes to terms of religion. Now, John Locke sort of disincludes blacks, women, atheists, and anyone who's really not Christian. So even by this standard, which is very bigoted by today's standards, and is bigoted in any way, shape, or form means, even by this standard that Locke proposed us years and years ago, we're still wrong on this bill. So time and time again, this bill shows that it does go against the principles of being American. Now, finally, I'm going to close off and say a real-world example on how this affects everyone's lives and how it's going to affect my life. As a real-world example has been called for several times in today's debate. As a 20-year-old, I don't plan on getting married anytime soon, but when it happens, my parents would like me to go back to their home country to have my marriage. They'd like to see it in Jordan, just because my bedridden grandmother would really love to see her grandson get married in front of her. Now, what this would do would be that if I did get married in my parents' native home country of Jordan, coming back to the United States, I would not have the ability to bring that marriage over if a Florida court decided that the marriage processes in Jordan are not the same as the marriage processes of the United States, even though I am a U.S. citizen. And it would be taking this very right away from me just based on the fact that my religion and my background does not actually go along with English common law. And that's a way to oppress me. And I will not stand for that as a Floridian. I will not stand for that as an American. And I will not stand for that as a member of the society that I stand here today.